What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm excited about CashFlow Chronicles on today. We're going to be talking about already, and that is what is it? America is a financial trap, but don't worry, there is a way to beat the system, and the rich have been doing it for years. We're going to talk about exactly how to beat the American financial trap system because the truth is, most people today, including probably you, most likely, according to statistics, feel trapped financially. How do you beat this financial trap? But that's what we're going to be talking about today. But we're not done there. We're also going to be talking about that DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is under attack. And I want to know what you think about it. So we got the chat lit up on today. I want to see if we can see people's chat. Facebook is working. Yes, guys, we worked on Facebook over the weekend and it is working. I'm so excited about that. So you guys can post your comments inside the chat. And we ready to get this thing off, you guys. It's CashFlow Chronicles, where we teach you how to get one thing, and that is called what? Cash flow. That's what it's all about. Guys, give me an audio and video check in the chat. Make sure everything is going well. Let me know if you can hear me well, because I did get some notices the first time we went live that it was choppy. We don't want choppy. We want to make sure everything is working right. All right. So America's a financial trap, you guys. Most people today in America feel like they can't make it. And the truth is, statistically, we're going to be talking about this, right? How is it that before the pandemic, that 78% of Americans felt like they were living, well, not felt like they were living check to check. And now after the pandemic, it went down to 61%. Did anybody feel like things got better? Is it just me? Maybe they did. I don't know. But for the average worker, prices went up, called inflation, and we kind of stayed the same. But they said that it dropped from 78% to the 61%. And I want to know who it is. All right. So sound is yes. Thank you, Carolyn, for that. I want to know who it is that says that this thing is actually doing better. Guys, for you on Facebook, guys, if you go ahead and drop me chats and questions, I will answer your questions. Guys, we got Instagram over here that is absolutely working. We got YouTube over here that's absolutely working. And I'm on about 5 different channels across Facebook. So we got 5 channels on Facebook. We got Instagram. We got YouTube, all right here for CashFlow Chronicles. And let's talk about this trap. Now, I call it the Matrix. You can call it whatever you want to. I call it the Matrix. Like literally, we were raised to fuel an economy. That's what we made. They literally raised us to be workers. Everybody here went to school and was asked one question: what do you want to be when you grow up? They sent us literally and said, what's going on, Ava? Good to see you. They literally sent us into what I call a field. You went into a medical field, you went into a technology field, you went into a healthcare field, you went into a legal field. You may say that I'm, all these different fields that people are in. Matter of fact, if you know the field that you're in, go ahead and put that in the chat right quick as well. Give us a like, a thumbs up, and share this content out, you guys. We are looking to build this channel. We're going to be coming live every single day right here at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to tell you guys up front, this is the reason today is one of the reasons that my staff told me that I cannot put our company's name on anything that I do, because today is going to be off the chain. Just telling y'all, today is going to be one of them times where I get to be George Howard. And if y'all ain't never seen the uncouth George Howard, well, you're going to see it today, right? Because we were raised to be slaves. The truth is, we feed the American economy. It is a trap that everybody has went into. Not just what do you want to be when you grow up. It is the school to poverty pipeline. See, we talk about the school to prison pipeline all the time because it can be seen. People are going to a physical prison. But what they did not tell you is that that job and the wages and the retirement is a financial prison, that you will live check to check, check to check. You will put money in a Roth IRA or mutual fund or a 401k, and you retire broke, waiting for Social Security to come in. Now, here's the deal. If I lived my whole life living check to check, and then you tell me I have to downsize in order to retire, well, then what does that look like? And for those people to say, well, I'm okay with retirement. Yeah, but you're 70 years old. 72 to be exact, to retire in this country and get full benefits. No, it's not. 67 to retire and get full benefits. And 72 is the average lifespan of a male, 72 and a half. So if I retire at 67 and I die at 72, that means I went to school and worked my entire life and only had about 5 or 6 years to myself. That is what I call prison. And while I was doing it, I was only working to go, what's going on? I can't see your name because it just says hello, y'all. I got something to fix that too, but I can't do it today. Put your name in the chat that said hello, y'all. But when we look at that, it's like I worked literally 67 years out of 72. 67 of them went to going to school and working a job, living check to check. If that's not a financial trap, I don't know what a financial trap is. And all we did was fuel the American economy. We went to work to fuel the economy. We paid bills to fuel the economy. We paid taxes to fuel the economy while we were literally being impoverished. It is a financial trap, but there are rules to this trap. And if you know how to play the rules, you can get free. Somebody say, I want to be free. Woo! Right? Anybody want to be free? Yeah, I want to be free, you guys. I'm going to be telling you today how to actually be free. And then on top of that, you will find out that Elon Musk and some other people have literally been saying some things that I personally don't like. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw the first blow. I think Elon Musk is a bigot. I think he's a racist. And I can spit on every Tesla that I ever see based on what I just seen today. Now, if I'm wrong, y'all help a brother. But right now, I'm feeling some kind of way. And by the end of this broadcast, you're probably going to be feeling some kind of way too, because it is like, really? They said that out loud? What's going on, Aquanita? Good to see you. It's going to be like, they said that out. They said the quiet part out loud, y'all. They said the quiet part out loud. Like, we don't want them niggers. They literally said the quiet part out loud. Not quietly. They said the quiet part out loud. We don't want them niggers. All right. So, guys, real quickly, I'm going to bring up a video and we're going to discuss it. I'm going to be pausing it and we're going to talk about it. This video does a very good job. And I haven't watched it all the way through, but what I did see, I was like, okay, I like this video. I have no time to walk it all the way through, but it gives us some commentary. Did a good job of actually talking about the state of America and where you are, and then we're going to come back and give the solutions. Anybody ready for the solutions? If you're ready for the solutions, put a number 8 in the chat. What does 8 stand for? 8 stands for the number of new beginning. But 8 is also the number of prosperity. 8 is also the number of wealth. 8 is also the number of overflow. 8 is also the number of abundance. Anybody here says, I want a new beginning of wealth, prosperity, and abundance and overflow? If that's you, drop the number 8 in the chat, baby. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. That's what I'm talking about. If you guys have not shared this out, share it out. If you have not given me some hearts, heart this thing up and also share and put some comments in the chat. Let's go. All right. So what I'm going to do here and bring up, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and grab this video right quick. And we are going to get this thing started. I am excited about today's broadcast. All right. And y'all, we just getting started. This is only our 3rd broadcast. Can y'all believe it? Only our 3rd broadcast, man. And we about to get this thing moving. Somebody say, oh, shoot. All right. So here we go right here, you guys. Let's go ahead and play this and I'll give my commentary as we go. All right, let's go.
Americans are sort of looking at how much money they would like to have.
I think I'm going to start at the beginning. All right, let's go.
The average American says they need to earn $233,000 a year to be financially comfortable.
Stop there. I got to stop already. $233,000? 230, not to be rich, to be comfortable. Y'all put me in the chat right quick. Is that a real number? Like, I'm not playing. Is that a real number? The average American says they need $233,000 to be comfortable. When I was growing up, if you made $80,000 a year, you was bowling. If you was 6 figures, you was rich. $233,000? Like, is this right? Like, somebody help a brother. Is this okay? All right, we'll see. Let's go.
But in 2021, American workers on average made only $75,203
Got a long
annually.
way to go.
Americans are sort of looking at how much money they would like to have to be financially secure, and that ends up being basically 3 times what the average income is in this country. And to be essentially wealthy or really successful, it's magnitudes above that.
72%.
So they're saying in order to be wealthy is more than 233,000, way significantly above that. I don't know. I think that's an exaggeration. $233,000. What is it about? That's $20,000 a month in order to be just average. Is that right? I mean, $20,000 a month is $240 a year. Is that right? Is food, housing, auto? Is that for us to live your best life? Is that what we call comfortable now? That you can go drive, your Range Rover, your Bentleys, or your, or your what is the Mercedes SUV called? Somebody tell. I don't even know what the Mercedes SUV called. I know it. I just can't think of it. What is it called? Y'all put it in the chat. Right? Is that what it is to be comfortable today? That somebody balling. Somebody showing out. I don't believe that. I just don't. Or you live in New York or California. Something.
Percent of Americans said they weren't financially secure given their current finances. And more than a quarter of Americans said they'll likely never be financially secure.
By the numbers, their debt is lower and their savings.
Wait, 25%, 1 out of 4 people said, I will never, ever in life be financially secure. 1 in 4 people. 1, 2, 3 broke. 1, 2, 3 broke. 1, 2, 3 broke. That is a major number. We're in the world's richest country. And you're telling me that 1 in 4 Americans, I will never be financially secure, which means that I will always be broke for the rest of my life. That cannot be. I believe it. This is why it's called America is a Financial Trap and How to Beat the System. But Jesus, I'm over here this is crazy. I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, I'm blown away. Like these numbers can't be real.
Things are higher coming out of the pandemic, but they're more anxious
The
about
G-Wagon.
what's going to happen next, if they have job stability, if they're going to be able to have secure retirement.
With well over half of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, many are failing to meet some of their modest financial goals.
All right, so they're saying it was 61% of people are living check to check. That's, for me, it's kind of hard to believe. I think it's higher than that. Before the pandemic in 2019, it was 78% of Americans were living check to check. Things have not gotten that much significantly better because after COVID, we had major inflation. Now interest rates are higher and everything else is higher. And you're telling me that people are doing economically better? That's just not, it's not physically possible. It's not physically possible that your wages stayed the same and everything else got higher and everybody's doing better. That it can't be. Somebody lying. I don't know who lying, but either it was too high at first at 78% or was too low right now at 61%, but somebody lying. I don't know who it is. Y'all put in the chat which one of y'all think it is. Is it 78 or 61? Which one of y'all think it is? Because somebody lying. That's all I can say. Somebody ain't telling the truth. Now it wants to buffer.
There are actually millions of people struggling. It's not something that people want to talk about, but if you're in a place where your financial security feels super precarious, you're not alone. And it's not your fault.
So how did it become so difficult to be financially secure in America? And what can you do about it? Let's do some budgeting. Americans working full-time earned a median monthly income of about $4,400 during the second quarter of 2023. The average worker takes home 75.
That math ain't working. That math ain't mathing. That math ain't mathing. They said earlier that the average person today makes $75,000 a year. Then they came back and just said that the average person makes $4,400 a month. That math ain't mathing. $4,400 a month is about $50,000 a year. That's a long way from $75,000. Again, that math ain't mathing. Anybody else catch that? At the very beginning, they said that it takes $233,000 for you to be comfortable. And then they said, and the average worker only makes $75,000 a year. Well, now they're doing the budget and they say, hey, they're only making $4,400 a month. That's only $50,000 a year. The math ain't mathing. Like, all right, okay, let's go.
5.2% of gross wages after taxes and benefits, shrinking the take-home pay to about $3,308. And that just isn't enough to cover the cost of living in America today.
The cost of healthcare, that has skyrocketed. The cost of attending college has skyrocketed. The cost of purchasing a home has skyrocketed. But nowhere has anyone said wage growth is up 15%, right?
Take a look at some of the most essential expenses for Americans. The median monthly rent in the US is $2,029 as of June 2023. That amount already accounts for over 46% of the American.
Wait a minute. Y'all. This math ain't mathing at all. Anybody got look, check this. All right. If the average rent is $2,100 and you only bringing home $3,800, only thing you pay is rent, and you got $1,700 left. Are y'all feeling this? Like, y'all catching this? The average wage, according to them, I don't know the statistics is right, but according to them, that they are $3,800 bring home, and your rent is going to be $2,100. That leaves you $1,700 left, and you ain't paid a single bill yet. All you did was pay taxes and rent. In fact, you got it on there, 41% of your money is gone. Let's go.
Americans' median pre-tax income. But most U.S. agencies classify spending more than 30% of one's gross monthly income on rent as being rent burdened. Meanwhile, the median mortgage payment for a 2,400 square foot house was $1,957 per month. However, a common rule of thumb advises spending 28% or less of your pre-tax income on mortgage payments.
So let's do this right. They want me to spend less than 28%. Let's get your calculators out, right? So if I'm bringing home $3,300 times 0.28, that means $924. That's after tax. If we do pre-tax, because that's what they're going to do, they're going to take your gross times 0.28. That means that you got $1,200 you can go and rent. Anybody know where you can go rent a property at today in America for $1,200 and less? Unless you're in like Detroit or Gary or Cleveland. Who was I talking to the other day? And they were telling me that they rent was they was in Louisiana. They were in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge was really low too. Their rents was really, really, really low. I was surprisingly low.
For the median gross monthly earnings, that translates to just $1,232.
As we talk to households and talk to consumers out in the real world, especially those say under 40, housing.
What's going on, Barry, over there on
rent,
Instagram land?
Mortgage. It is the biggest concern that people aren't going to be able to make the next payment.
Inflation is really hurting individuals having stability in their housing. And I think sometimes we underestimate that if you have uncertainty in your housing, it causes uncertainty everywhere.
Housing is also the reason why cities have become more difficult to afford. Americans said it would require more than $1 million in net worth to be financially comfortable in places like San Francisco, New York, and Southern California.
I'm sorry, y'all. I got to keep pausing it. This is crazy. You're telling me when I was growing up, y'all got to help a brother. When I was growing up, if you had $1 million net worth, you were considered rich. When I say rich, I'm talking about like balling rich, like you are a millionaire. You are balling rich. And they're saying in San Fran and Southern California and New York, that's average. How did we get this bad? What happened? We're going to talk about it, and we're going to give you a solution for it. But this right here is banana. Somebody put a banana in the chat for me right quick. Put a banana in the chat because this is bananas. It's crazy. Let's go.
This is why we've seen some migration or mobility around the country where some people say, I'm living in a high-cost state like California or New York. We really want to sort of pack up and go to an area that's less expensive. And one of the ironies of that is those places that were cheaper before are now becoming more expensive.
Americans spend on average $690.75 on food every month, according to the latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That amount is significantly higher than any of USDA's estimated grocery bills, including more generous and liberal food plans. Add the out-of-pocket health expenditures that cost the average Americans $96.42 every month, and you get a total expense of $2,816.17 for renters and $2,744.17 for homeowners.
See, I got to catch this, right? Your gross bringing home is only $3,800, and you didn't spend 28 of it, and you didn't ate, you didn't pay rent, and you didn't pay health care. You ain't did nothing. You got, man, you ain't got you ain't paid car note, you ain't paid student loans, you ain't paid credit card debt, you ain't paid daycare, you ain't pay, you ain't paid cable or cell phone, you ain't ate, you haven't paid insurance, you haven't paid a light bill or a gas bill, you ain't put gas in the car, and you got $1,000 left. It is a trap. And if you feel this, somebody put trap in the chat right quick. On Instagram, put trap. On Facebook, put trap. On YouTube, put trap. We're gonna show you how to be free. Woo! That's what we're gonna do today, baby. We getting you people free today.
That amount already accounts for 85% of the median take-home pay for average American renters, and over 82% for an average homeowner. This is excluding other essential expenses like transportation, childcare, and debt payments.
Many Americans are really struggling with just the increase of costs of living and food and housing. Utility bills have gone up. Car insurance has gone up. Homeowners insurance has gone up. And how can they pay for them, but also meet other goals that they have to?
Budgeting experts advise Americans to spend just 50% of their net income on essentials, 30% on wants, and 20% on savings or paying off debt.
That's not possible.
You see that allocation shifting significantly where people are spending 75% of their take home just on needs, which leaves very little for wants and very little for saving for your financial future. So depending upon where you live and of course your income, many Americans really cannot meet that target allocation.
So much of managing your financial life in America today is like drinking from a fire hose. I think many households are not able to show up and impose a framework of their own design onto their finances. Many are still in this reactionary space where they're just trying to figure out how to make ends meet.
Anybody here feel like that? You're just trying to make ends meet? Y'all, this is the financial trap. They just told you, listen to the statistics, right? The statistics said that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac guidelines said that 30% of your income should go towards housing. They're going to take 25% out for taxes. So if I take the 25 plus the 30, that's 55% of my income is now gone. Then they say debt is supposed to be another 20%. So that's 75% of my income now gone. So I got 25% of my income still left, and I still have to do every single thing else. By the way, if you go to church and you believe that you should tithe, well, now you got another 10% of that is now actually gone. So now you got 85% gone, and you got 15% left. How are you supposed to live on 15%? You ain't saved nothing. You ain't did nothing else. You ain't paid a single bill. You ain't put no gas in the car. You ain't paid no insurance. You still got daycare. You still got everything else above your head. You ain't got no Walmart or no Target. You ain't been to Hollywood or Target. You ain't done none of that stuff, and you still got to live. This right here, my friend, is what I call a TRAP. But let's go.
The Federal Reserve has implemented 11 interest rate hikes to combat inflation since March 2022. But more than a third of Americans said rising interest rates kept them from financial comfort.
Higher interest rates really can stand in the way of affordability for many financial activities or decisions that people want to engage in, and home purchases is sort of at the top of that list.
Look at the person who was going to buy a house that was, let's say, $375,000 2 years ago. Their monthly payment would have been less than $2,000. Now it's about $3,400, and it's the same house, right?
So here's the question, you guys. It's not a question, it's a statement, right? Well, I guess it's the question wrapped in the statement. Y'all ever did that? Like you ask a question, but you make a point in the question? I don't make a difference. All right. So if I got to get the same house and it's going to cost me $1,200 more, how do I qualify for the house when I make the same amount of income? And if I don't qualify for the house, I got to buy less house, which means now if I'm buying less house, that means the mortgage broker's making less money, the realtor's making less money, the title company's making less money, everybody's making less money. and you're getting less house. The only person winning in this equation is the bank. Somebody put a trap. It's a trap. The only person winning this situation is the bank. All right, let's go. Anybody bought a house in the last year? Y'all feeling this? If y'all bought a house in the last year, put a
Anything that
chat.
has
Put a one
changed
in
is
the
the
chat.
interest rate.
Purchasing a car is more expensive. It's more expensive to maintain a balance on a credit card with the new offers for a credit card, even for the best qualified individual being at 20.5%. And other people are paying closer to 30.
20.
Cost of capital is going.
It's a trap. But the average credit card is 20%, and some people are paying 30%. So let me get this right. If I put money in the bank, I'm probably going to get like a savings account, I'm going to get less than 1%. If I put money in a mutual fund, I'm going to get about 4 to 6%. If I put money in a money market account, I'm going to get about 2%. If I put money in a CD, I'm going to get about 4%. If I put money in a stock market, I'm going to get about 8 to 10%. All right. If I did the best I could and I got 10%, but I'm paying 20% out, I'm taking a 10% loss. If I'm paying 30% on credit card debt, I'm taking a 20% loss. On top of everything being higher, you spending 75 to 85% of my income already gone. And now the interest rates on everything is so much higher. How are people making it today? This is why they said 25% of people feel like they will always be financially stressed out. What I'm telling you is that you're not alone. What I'm telling you is that it's not your fault. What I'm telling you is there is a way to beat the system, but you can't play the same game and think you're going to win. It's rigged. This is worse than Vegas. It's worse than the casino. At least at the casino, the probability of you winning is not in your favor, but there's still a chance. There's no chance of winning doing this. That is absolutely zero. You cannot win. It is fixed. It is a fixed game, a fixed fight, and you are on the wrong side of the fix. I'm not making this up. You guys are seeing this in real life. You cannot win. You must change the game. That's what we're going to be talking about in just a second. You got to change the game. You can't win doing this.
Up very rapidly. And many of the kind of toeholds we saw for lower income households was because they were having access to credit and to home loans and to other things in a relatively flat economy where they still had a good job market. The ability to access credit, both for small businesses and for households, is getting much harder as the financial system becomes more risk averse in that space.
Credit is essential because Americans don't have the savings to cover big expenses. More than 40% of Americans blamed insufficient.
Y'all got to read between the lines on this. They just said, watch this. They said, credit is essential, necessary. You cannot go without it. Why? Because most people don't have savings. So what they're saying is the only way to make it today is to live off credit cards. It's essential. It's necessary. You don't have enough to make ends meet, so you need to have a credit card. But that credit card has a limit. And what do I do when the credit card runs out? Now I got another bill. Y'all got to catch it. I have another bill. It's maxed out. I got nowhere else to pull money from. And now I'm in a worse situation than I was before I started using the credit card. Y'all, it's a fixed game. You cannot win. It's not your fault. They set you up from the beginning. Wealthy and rich people do not play this game. I don't play it. Me, friends don't play it. And I'm telling you that you should not play it either. There's another way to win at this game. And doing the average thing that the average American is doing is going to leave you what the average American is going to get. And that is BROKE. That is, I'm not speaking negative of you. What I'm telling you is that you have been taught a rigged system, a rigged game, and there is a way to get out of it, but you have to do what nobody else is doing around you. So, I just need more income. I just need a raise. You're going to get a raise of $233,000? Because that's what they said it takes in America to be comfortable, according to this. Probably not going to happen. So how do I fix it? Well, let's finish this video and we're going to talk about it. Then we're going to talk about how they don't even want you to get that.
retirement funds, or emergency savings as a reason for financial insecurity.
For a lot of people, just to feel subjectively feel financially better, they need
What's going on,
some
DLC? What's
amount of
going on, Hood
savings.
Free?
A lot of financial planners will say 3 months of your income. That's, for many people, it's just so overwhelming that they can't even begin to think about it.
More than half of Americans today said they didn't have at least 3 months of emergency expenses saved,
That's
including
expected.
22% that said they had no emergency savings at all.
It doesn't take unemployment to really knock somebody out of whack with respect to their personal finances if they're among the many Americans who say they cannot afford a $1,000 emergency expense and to pay that from their savings.
The reality is, if expenses are routine,
Yeah, the average person in America, in the world's richest country, don't have $1,000. I want y'all to let that sink in. We live in the richest country in the world. We are amongst the top 3 dynasties to ever be on the earth. Ever on the earth. You got the Roman Empire dynasty, you got the Egyptian dynasty, you have the American dynasty. And the average citizen don't got $1,000? And an economy that says that it takes $233,000 to be comfortable? Let this sink in. Now, we're not done yet. This is crazy. Just somebody put
routinely
crazy.
higher than your income, you are not going to be able to put away meaningful sums. There are many, many households who do the verb of saving. You see money go into their account all the time. It just doesn't stay there because they are routinely hit with a need to grab that little bit of money and use it for some kind of income shock or unexpected expense or even expected expense.
36% of Americans said they had more credit card debt than emergency savings. According to Experian, an average American holds a debt balance of $96,371, which includes several loan products like credit cards, auto loans, and mortgages. More than a quarter of Americans said debt was what kept them from financial security.
Debt is a way of channeling some of our financial resources, and that can be a very effective tool. Many of us are fans of credit cards that have rewards, for example. But if you're not paying that principal or debt off within the billing cycle, that's when those double-digit percentage interest.
That's double talk. Yeah, listen what he just said. You already, he just told you that the average interest rate on a credit card is 20 to 30%. Okay, cool. If you pay it off at the end of the month or be within the same billing cycle, you don't have to pay that. But the average person right now only has 25 to 15% of their income left. That's it. And and then we just said you don't have an average of $1,000 saved. You only got 15 to 25% of your check, and now you're gonna play this credit card game. That is not the right. And he said that's pretty good strategy. Just pay it off at the end of the month. What? What am I gonna pay it off with? Like, it sounds good, but is it probable? Is it something that I can do? Is it even plausible? Is it even likely to happen? Probably not. Y'all can get enough of listening to these financial advisors that's broke. I'm just telling you.
Rates hit, and that can then exact a toll on the other aspects
Andrew, right? It's
of
crazy.
your personal finances.
How do we properly address this so that people cannot be in the cycle of just focusing on paying debt and necessities, but can even think about transitioning to that other 20% and creating an emergency savings, which causes financial stability, or even saving for retirement, which is the goal of creating future financial stability in retirement?
The fact that many Americans are living in financial insecurity poses a big risk to the economy as a whole.
There's a reason why we measure and monitor very closely things like consumer confidence or consumer sentiment, because what populates those data points are everyday measurements like inflation and the strength of the job market.
I think COVID really showed us that households, when they don't have a level of stability and security, are actually the primary foundation of whether the economy can be strong or not, because we are so based on consumer spending in this country.
Public policy can greatly improve Americans' chances of achieving financial security.
So, for example, Social Security is the bedrock of most people's financial security in retirement. It's not the only source of their retirement income, but it keeps a lot of older people out of poverty. And we know that Social Security needs some reforms in order to maintain its same level of benefits. And then also anything we can do to make sure that employers are offering.
Anybody here think Social Security is the answer? Anybody here think Social Security is the answer? Because we ain't gonna talk about this episode. By the way, Big shout out to some people on Social Security right now. Y'all just got a raise in 2023, I think of 3%. We'll talk about it. I'll look it up, but we're going to talk about another show. But I believe that in 2024, not 2023, that Social Security just got a raise of 3%. But what is 3%? I mean, it's something. Don't get me wrong. I'll take it. Well, I don't have Social Security, but I'm sure people would take it. But it's 3%. That ain't helping nobody. 3%. When inflation, well, actually, inflation has come down dramatically. And we'll talk about what inflation is and how that happens and how you actually play this inflation game. Because people are getting paid right now, and I done messed it up.
Credit and to home loans and to other things in a
I don't even know where we were.
economy where
Okay, we got to rewatch this again. My
the
bad.
ability to access credit, both for small businesses and for households, is getting much harder as the financial system becomes more risk averse in that space.
Credit is essential because Americans don't have
we
the
way
savings to cover big expenses. More than 40% of Americans blamed
Let's go there. My bad, y'all. I didn't click the wrong button.
You are not going to be able to put away meaningful sums. There are many, many households who do the verb of saving. You see money go into their account all the time. It just doesn't stay there because they are routinely hit with a need to grab that little bit of money and use it for some kind of income shock or unexpected expense or even expected expense.
36% of Americans said they had more credit card debt than emergency savings. According to
Had to learn
Experian,
how to
an
trade is
average
one of them.
American
We will
holds
talk
a
about
debt
it.
balance of $96,371, which includes several loan products like credit cards, auto loans, and mortgages. More than a quarter of Americans said debt was what kept them from financial security.
Debt is a way of channeling some of our financial resources, and that can be a very effective tool. Many of us are fans of credit cards that have rewards, for example, but if you're not paying that principal or debt off within the billing cycle, that's when
I'm so sorry. We'd already heard this. I know.
interest
My bad.
rates hit, and that can then exact a toll on the other aspects of your personal finances.
How do we properly address this so that people cannot be in the cycle of just focusing on paying debt and necessities, but can even think about transitioning to that other 20% and creating an emergency savings, which causes financial stability, or even saving for retirement, which is the goal of creating future financial stability in retirement?
The fact that many Americans are living in financial insecurity poses a big risk to the economy as a whole.
There's a reason why we measure and monitor very closely things like consumer confidence or consumer sentiment, because what populates those data points are everyday measurements like inflation and the strength of the job market.
I think COVID really showed us that households, when they don't have a level of stability and security, are actually the primary foundation of whether the economy can be strong or not, because we are so based on consumer spending in this country.
Public policy can greatly improve America.
Guys, what they're saying is, if you ain't spending money, the economy stops. I want y'all to really push this, right? I want to put y'all on game, right? If you're not spending money, the economy stops. So they always need you to spend your money. The trap is this: you got to go to work. You work for a job that's producing a product or a service. Hear me. So now you're on the producing end, but you're not the producer. Then once you get your check, you got to go spend it with another job, with another employee. And now I'm working to either pay bills or go buy stuff. I'm working to go pay bills and go buy stuff. I'm working to pay bills and go buy stuff. I'm working to pay bills and go buy stuff. And it's a never-ending cycle. Some people call it the rat race. Some people call it the hamster wheel. It is a never-ending cycle. How do I get out of this? It is a never, and it gets faster and faster and faster and faster to the point where you're like, I just can't wait to retire. Well, you're going to retire and live on less? That is the key. You are fueling the American economy. You are a large battery. I just want to tell you that, like, I'm going to drop it like it is. You are, anybody seen The Matrix? Where they literally said, well, you're the battery that powers the Matrix. Y'all remember that? Like, you're the energy that powers the computer system that has everybody thinking, and then they program your mind to think that you're doing well. It's the Matrix. They have programmed your mind to think that I'm doing well. And so now we say, well, you know, you only live once. I'm going to take my check and do what I got to do. I'm going on this vacation. I'm going to get this Gucci. I'm going to get this Burberry. And you flossing and you broke. You flossing and we spending it on liabilities and expenses and not on assets and income. There is another way, but I'll be honest with you, people can hear this all day long and they still not gonna want to do it because the truth is, it ain't normal. You're going to be weird. What I'm going to teach you is going to be crazy to a lot of people, but a lot of people are already broke and you already know the game is fixed. So here's the deal. Do you want to look normal and be broke, or do you want to look crazy and have some money? That's the question. Which one would you rather be? Normal and broke. That means, I got my matching Nikes with my matching Nike outfit. I got my matching Gucci shoes with my matching Gucci belt, with my Coach or my Louis or my Louboutins or my J's and that sound system. And I got to be fresh. I got to be clean. I got to go spend this $200 on this meal and I got to go do it. And you can hear the statistics say you broke. You ain't got it like that, bro. You ain't got it like that, ma'am. And it's okay not to have it. And as long as you don't have it and you act like you do, you will never get it. So one more time, as long as you act like you have it and you act like you do, you'll never get it. But if you're willing today to listen to what I'm going to tell you, and you're willing to make the sacrifice to get what it is that you want, I promise you, you will be uncomfortable for a few years, but you will be able to live like nobody else for the rest of your life. But is there a sacrifice? Yeah. But here's the deal. If you're not willing to sacrifice for what you want, then what you want becomes the sacrifice. And we got to get to the point where we say, you know what? I'll sacrifice now for a better future later. Just telling you, then they come up with this stuff called mental health and work-life balance and all that kind of stuff. Y'all, and I'm going to say it. This is why they told me I got to have my own channel. I can't do this stuff on the company channel. I'm going to say it. Y'all ready? That's for punks. Y'all, that is for punk. We ain't got so soft. We have gotten so weak. Oh gosh. Do y'all know what granddaddy and grandmama had to do in order to make it? We do half of what they did. We were like, man, I can't do it. My mental health is kicking in. I can't do it. That's because your mental mind is weak. It's a muscle. Stimulate it. Get stronger and get back out there and make the sacrifice. But if you just do what they tell you to do and you be comfortable, well, you're going to get the results. And that's what they're telling you to do. And they come up with this, or you got ADHD, or you got mental health, and you need to have work-life balance, and you need to enjoy yourself, and you need to go on vacation. No, you don't. You need to play the game that the rich people are playing, because poor people are still going to be poor, and middle class is going to get poor, and rich are getting richer because they know how to play the game. The rich people are extracting money from the middle class and the poor class. That's what they do. They teach you how to spend money with them and how to go work with them. It's called the economy. Let's go.
Chances of achieving financial security.
So, for example, Social Security is the bedrock of
we
most
were almost
people's
done.
financial security and retirement. It's not the only source of their retirement income, but it keeps a lot of the older people out of poverty. And we know that Social Security needs some reforms in order to maintain its same level of benefits. And then also anything we can do to make sure that employers are offering any kind of retirement savings opportunities, emergency savings opportunities at work, offering employees the ability to enroll in benefits, whether that's health insurance or insurance for life insurance or disability insurance. Employers are a key part of this too, and public policies play a big role in terms of what employers can offer and at what price they can afford it.
The household's willingness to work toward financial security is also important.
Ultimately, the answer here is that solutions have to be arrived at the macro level as well as the household level. And so at some level, we all need to try to own our own financial success by managing our money as well as we can across the range of areas like emergency savings and retirement.
Financial advisors say.
So what he just told us to do is to do what nobody can do. Get an emergency savings. Nobody has it. Or the average person doesn't have it. $1,000. And then get retirement. From what? Like, he tells you the problem, and then he tells you, oh, well, just go do this. How? There's no solution here. What you're telling me to do is already the problem that you've already told me. And so now I have a paradoxical predicament here, because I can't save. I can't get an emergency fund, but you're telling me to save and you're telling me to get an emergency fund, and that's the answer. Well, how am I supposed to do the impossible? That's not the answer. We're going to get there, though. Here it is. Let's go.
The first step is to have a clear goal.
What do you want to achieve personally? What do you want to achieve at work? When do you want to retire? What do you want to do for others? And write that down.
But the key to success comes down to budgeting.
Everyone.
I'm going to stop here. Anybody feel like budgeting is the key to success? Put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like it's not, put a 2 in the chat. I really want to see this. If you feel like budgeting, sacrifice and discipline, right? Yeah. If you feel like budgeting, what she just said, is going to fix this, there's a large disparity here. What you make and the average person needs to make $233,000, and all you need is a budget. Now, I'm not telling you you shouldn't budget. I believe everybody should have a budget, especially when you're on the low end of it. So I'm not saying that that's the answer. That's not the answer. I'm just saying it's not the final answer. It is a small part of a large equation. Budgeting alone will not fix this problem. It's like giving me a diet with sugar, caffeine, and all the other stuff and high carbs and everything else is in it. Okay, I'm on a diet, but the diet don't work. Okay.
Should budget. What we say is it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. And so think about and have some transparency of where is your money going. And then make sure the budget that you have aligns with the goals that you wrote down. If you say you want to retire early, are you saving more to retire early? If you
what money are we going to save with?
College, if you want to be debt free, are you paying more on your student loans? Are you paying
more with what?
So you can be debt free. Make sure that your budget aligns with your goals.
There are actually millions of people struggling.
I'm not being funny, y'all. Does anybody see a paradox in this? Like, I'm being so serious. Like, I'm really, really being as genuine as I can. Does anybody see a paradox in this, that what they're telling you to do is not even possible to do? Like, they just told you that people can't save. They just told you that all your income is gone. They told you how high credit card debt is. They told you how the mortgage debt is. They told you how less money that you have right now. And they say, oh, but the answer is to save. The answer is retirement. The answer is to pay down your debt. The answer is to pay more, get an emergency fund. Where is the money going to come from? Like, are y'all getting? It's the Dave Ramsey solution. And see, there was a major controversy or some social media hype, right? Woman comes out and said Dave Ramsey doesn't work for Black people. That's not true. Dave Ramsey doesn't work for any people. He don't. You cannot save your way into riches. It is impossible to save your way into riches. You must leverage money, time, systems, and people in order to build wealth. We'll say it again. You must leverage money. You must leverage money, time, systems, and people. We're going to talk about what that looks like in order to generate wealth. That's what it takes. Let's go.
It's not something that people want to talk about, but if you're in a place where your financial security feels super precarious, you're not alone. And it's not your fault.
Many people who have really high incomes and a lot of savings still feel financially anxious. So don't feel like this is your fault or something to do with the fact that your income isn't enough.
That's the first thing I want to say. One of the very few things they said I agree with.
What you can do is just acknowledge that and deal with it and not try to avoid it.
Yeah, this is on CNBC. Now, here's the bad part with this, is that I love CNBC. I get a lot. I mean, I do a lot of things with CNBC. A lot of things with CNBC. But this right here, what they just did is not true. So how many of y'all right now say, what's the answer, George? What's the answer, George? What's the answer, George? What's the answer, George? Right? You told me all this other stuff. What's the answer? I just told you. What's going on, Reverend Juju? I just told you what the problem was. The problem was, well, they told you what the problem was. The problem was this, right? Where's my pad? Now, I'm going to see if I can bring this up right quick, you guys. Here's the problem, right? And we're just going to do simple. Guys, this is not math, it's money. Somebody put it's not math, it's money on here. It's not math, it's money. If you think of it as math, well, then you might be a little disappointed. All right, let's see if this is actually going to work here. Let's see. Uh-oh, we in trouble. It ain't working. It ain't working. It's 1, 2, 3. It's on channel 3, and it ain't working. All right, let me see if I take this out. I want to bring up my iPad real quickly on here. We're just gonna move a couple things around and see if I plug it directly into the iPad instead of using my adapter. And let's see if it works, because it's worked before. Let's see if it works now. Still no go. Interesting. Is this the right plug? And it is. And it ain't working, y'all. It don't like me. I didn't plug it in, plugged it out. And let's try one more time. One more again. If it don't work this time, we're just going to give up on it. Boom, there it is. All right. So this is what it is. All right. So guys, it's 100%, right? Let's just say gross. Gross income is 100%. Taxes. Because as usual, I usually put 30% here, but I'm going to say 25%. We're going to use that number. How much do I have left? I have 75% left. All right. Now we're going to come back and we're going to say housing. Now, y'all just seen the statistics is 30%. How much do I have left? I have 45% left, right? Then we're going to say from there, we got debt. This is your car note, your student loan, your credit cards, and all that kind of stuff is 20%. Well, now we only got 15% left, right? But then we're going to come back and say, let me make sure my math is right. 25, 75, 75, 30, 35. It's 25%, excuse me. 25% left. See? You will not mess up a little once in a while. All right. So then we got debt, right? All right. So then when we come here, we got 25% left. Well, now what I have to do is I have to pay bills. I have to just, let's call it live. All right. I got to live on 25%. All right. What is 25% of $5,000? That is the average. That's the average income in America. If I got $5,000 and 25%, 20% is going to be 1,000, 25%. We'll just go ahead and get the calculator out. Make sure that I'm all the way right. We don't want to have no errors on live TV. $50,000. And guys, I'm actually taking gross, and it's actually net. So that's even worse. $50,000 times 0.25. I'm sorry. $50,000. Well, I guess I could have done it that way. Times 0.25 divided by 12. All right, that gives you $1,041 left. So I got $1,041 left. All right, here's the problem with that. Out of this, we're told to pay our tithes. If you pay your tithes, I'm not going to put that in here for right now because I know some people don't. I do recommend you do it, but I know some people don't. I got $1,000 left, you guys. If you got children, your money's gone because daycare is at an all-time high right now. Right? You still got to do groceries. And they just told you the average family is spending $700 on groceries right now. That is average. All right. Then it says, then you have, God, I don't even know what to say. We're going to call it, well, let's just talk about cell phone. Let's do the basics. I don't want to write. Cell phone. Come on. Then we got cable. Then we got internet. Come on, man. All right. Let me just move it up a little bit and see if it works. Yeah, my pencil messing up. I'm sorry, you guys. You got internet. You got, let's call it utilities. All right, you got us $1,000, you guys. That's all we had. Utilities. Then you got to put gas in the car. Then you got to pay your car insurance. Then you got to go to Walmart or Target. Right? You got to do your hygiene stuff. Right? Is that the basics? We didn't eat. Now you ain't done no entertainment stuff. Entertainment would be things like, and I'm out to eat, movies, kicking it, concerts, comedy clubs, vacation. Like you ain't done none of that stuff. And all of this, come on, baby, write for me. All of this, you only have $1,000. What was it? What was it? $1,100? I thought it was. Let me bring it back up. Yeah, you got $10,050. How? Houseway. Houseway. I got $10,050 to do all of this. Houseway. Somebody tell me how. Well, I'm going to tell you how. That's what I'm here for. I'm going to show you how to get this thing together. But we'll take a small break and we'll come back and get a solution on how to actually get this thing done. I'll be right back.
How would you like to own this home for $500 with no mortgage? I'm talking about you bought it for $500 and you have no monthly payments ever. Or how about this property for just $300, no matter your credit history, and even if you have no real estate experience? Or how about this one here for $1,600, where you can own this property debt-free no matter what your background is? Hi, I'm George Howard, and I purchased each one of these properties using the Pennies to Properties Real Estate Success System. Now, I know it sounds too good to be true. So what I want to do is I want to show you public record. You cannot fake public record. And I want to show you how I bought property for $500 and $500 and $900 and $1,000 and $1,600 over and over and over again. And I have done this over 150 times using the exact same steps we documented in the Pennies to Property Real Estate System. This system is guaranteed to work for you. Here's the first property I ever flipped. Now, I bought this property using no money of my own, and I flipped it for over $65,000 in profit. I bought this property here for $300 and sold it for $90,000 after renting it for $1,000 a month for about 5 years. I bought this property here for $3,000 and sold it for $80,000. Or how about this property here that I bought for $5,000 and sold it in 2 days for $135,000 after we rehabbed it? I can go on and on and on and on about how the Pennies to Property Real Estate Success System has worked for me, but I want to show you how it can work for you.
Now Mr. Howard is revealing all of his secrets in his Tell-All Pennies to Property real estate system. Designed for ease, whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out, this system simplifies complex strategies into understandable steps. The property strategy will show you how to dominate at the auctions and identify the properties that you can most likely obtain through the How to Get the Property Every Time strategy that has worked over 3,000 times for him and his students. Uncover insider tips to outsmart the competition and secure the best deals. And he even reveals the secrets on how to purchase properties for as little as $500. Mr. Howard's ultimate state guide to tax lien and deed investing will give you immediate access to the information you need to locate and buy in virtually every county in the United States. Plus, in Guaranteed Wealth Unlocked, learn how easy it is to invest in secured government tax lien certificates. In Over-the-Counter Strategy, George will show you how you can obtain properties by simply paying the back taxes on properties. For the limited time, on the screen, you can get access to George's Pennies to Property real estate system. Don't wait! Limited copies available at this special price of just $19.97.
There's more!
When you order, you also get The Untold Truth, debunking all of the myths about tax lien and deed investing. Tax deed secrets uncovered that will save you time, stress, and money by showing you how to avoid the top 20 mistakes most tax deed and lien investors make. Mr. Howard is going to send you how to fast track your wealth that will show you the quickest and easiest way to start generating cash profits. Invest with confidence, knowing you're backed by a no questions asked 100% money back guaranteed. He is willing to put his guarantee in writing. You have nothing to lose. This offer is normally offered on Amazon for $320 for a limited time only. Remember, this exclusive price is only available for a limited time. Act now to start building your real estate empire with the Pennies to Property real estate system.
Y'all had me here this whole time not talking to y'all and y'all couldn't hear nothing I was saying. Really? Really? That's what y'all was doing? All this time? I've been talking the whole time. Oh, I ain't got my comments up. That's why. Boy, I tell y'all what, I couldn't hear none of what y'all was saying. Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying, you guys, is that what you got right here is a job, right? And they have changed you, right? They have trained you how to get a job to go work for money. Get a job to go work for money. You are exchanging time for money, whether you're working for $20 an hour, $30 an hour, $40 an hour. You are exchanging your most valuable commodity, which is time on the face of the earth, for money. Matter of fact, let me tell you how much it is. Most people believe that they want to be free and they think they need, watch this, they think the objective is to get more money. The objective is not to get more money. The objective is to own your time. The only way to own your time is to get more money. But the objective is to get free so I can do what I want, when I want, for as long as I want, with who I want, wherever I want. Anybody want to do that? That if I choose to go to a job, that's my business. But if I choose not to, that's mine. Think of it this way. You are on the wrong side of capitalism. See, we live in a capitalistic society, but nobody ever taught you capitalism. I'm going to tell you again. You live in a capitalistic society. American is all about capitalism. It's based on the economy. It's about the producer. What they taught you all your life is how to go get a job. When you were in school, they taught you what? Well, what do you want to do when you grow up? It wasn't, I'm going to be a business owner. I'm going to own a tech company. I'm going to own a cleaning company. Guys, think of it this way. You have people who are not even from this country to come over here and make $150,000, $200,000. They barely speak English. But you know what they're willing to do? They're willing to not play the job game. What do? They open businesses. Now, there's a book that I have, and I think it's in my, nope, it's right here. I want you guys to check this book out, right? And it actually shares with you how, it's called The Jewish Phenomenon, the 7 Keys to Enduring the Wealth of a People. All right. This book actually talks about how the Jews actually became very wealthy. Y'all want to know how they became very wealthy? And it's the same thing that we must do. The key was they couldn't get jobs. Jews were hated. They were discriminated against. They were hated, and they had to develop their own system because Americans wouldn't hire them. So what did they do? They developed their own economy. They opened their own jobs. Everything from the shoe shine to the bakeries to the bike fixing companies. And then watch this. They formed their own banks. They lend to each other without interest. They gave loans to people without interest. If you were a Jew, matter of fact, it still exists today. If you are a Jew, you can go get a loan, start a business without interest and pay it back. And then they put it back in the kitty and go do it again. This is real. Why? Because the banks wouldn't give them loans. They couldn't go get jobs. They were hated. And they developed their own economy, and they kept buying and buying and buying. And now they own all the sports teams. They own all the news stations. They control pretty much everything. Why? Because they understood how to build wealth. And what I'm telling you is they couldn't get a job. The best thing that they could have ever done was not get a job. Now, let me tell you how it works. Y'all want to hear this? History. Look at it. How do we get Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma? They wouldn't give us jobs. So what did we do? We opened our own transportation companies. We opened the hospitals. We opened the bus companies. We owned the hospitals. We owned the school system. We owned everything. And we began to develop our own economy. We owned the banks. We owned everything. And what happened? You seen somebody begin to prosper, but they did not get a job. They became a capitalist in a capitalistic society, not a consumer in a capitalistic society. If you are a consumer in a capitalistic society, you are being used. And that's exactly how you feel today. You are working for an employer and then paying an employer. You're working for an employer and paying an employer. You're working for an employer. Like when you go spend money at Macy's and Dillard's and anybody else that you go, Nordstrom's and whoever else you go to, that's an employer. They have employees. So now you get paid at a job and you're going to pay somebody else their job. Who's on the other side of that? A capitalist who owns the job. Rich people buy time. Poor people and middle-class people, they sell it. I got to get you on the side of buying time. How do you actually buy time? I did it first through real estate. I put money to work starting with $300. Literally, started with $300, and I started getting $900 a month rent off of it. I bought 3 houses. I was grossing I was netting $2,700 a month. I was making that in my job. So I left. It's like, deuces, I'm gone. Like, I'm making more per month, not doing nothing, and I got to come to you 40 hours in a week. This ain't working for me. And I started doing real estate full time. Other people say, you know what? I'm going to learn a skill set. Here it is. I need y'all to understand this. I need you to get a skill set that is a low barrier to entry. That means it don't cost a lot of money to get in it. My skill set doesn't require 4 and 5 and 10 years in order for me to do it. It don't require me to go back to school. And this is possible today because we're in a digital age. We're in a technology age. So now I want to get a skill set where I can make more money from home, be my own boss. Now watch this when you actually become the employer. You ain't got to be an employer, but self-employed. Well, what happens with these numbers here? Well, the first thing that happens with these numbers is that this goes away. Now, I'm not going to say it's 0, but it's reduced. Let's just say it goes down to 10%. Why? Because my business gives me tax deductions that I normally didn't get. So now I'm going to start writing off things like my gas in my car. Now I'm going to start writing off things like my home office, if the home office deduction still exists. Now I'm going to start writing off things like when I took clients out to eat, or my marketing, or my computer, or my cell phone, or my internet, things I could not write off before. Now I'm going to write that off, and I just got rid of this. Now, if I get rid of 10% and I had 25% down here, I got rid of 15%. Well, now I don't have 25%. Come on, baby. The pen don't want to work. I mean, it ain't working for real now. Now I don't have 25%. Now I have, was it another 15%? So now I got 40%. I'm in a better situation than I was just by getting my own business. Yeah, but what happens when the business starts producing money? And it's separate from your time. Well, when the business starts producing money, well, then now this changes. Hear me? Let's say you start making 25% more. So now you're making another 125% because you got your regular job now, but I'm making another 25%. I'm paying less taxes. Well, if I put 25% down here, guess what I got now? I got 65% left. Is it a major difference between 25% and 65%? You better believe it. But we're still not done. Because now what I can start doing is now I'm going to, watch this, I'm going to leverage 4 things. I'm going to leverage money. I'm going to leverage time. I'm going to leverage systems. And I'm going to leverage people. Well, what does it mean to leverage money? Somebody say credit. Credit. What does it mean to leverage time? It's called passive income. What does it mean to leverage systems? That means that I have SOPs and automation. And I'm going to use AI now to manage my systems. Is going to free up my time. And I'm going to leverage people because I'm going to have employees. They're going to work for me. Now, we might not start here, but we're going to start here. Then we'll actually start here, actually. Then we'll start here, and then we'll start here. That's the system, you guys. You go get your credit right. Now, what I can do is go get me a business loan, or I can get some real estate to do what? To open a business. Now, what happens with the business? The business produces income, but I'm going to use the income to go buy an asset. Well, right? I'm going to use the business to go buy an asset. Well, what is the asset? Real estate, stocks, trade, something that's going to produce time. None of this is connected to my time. None of this is connected to time. Then I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to pay off the debt. What's the debt? The debt is right here. Now, I use none of my job money to do this. I use other people's money. The same way that you're going to spend money with an employer, I want people to go to work every day and then come bring you their money. They go to work to pay you. Whether you're selling a consumer good or you're selling a service or you're charging a service to the house. Like I'm a homeowner, I'm a landlord. Something where people are going to pay you every single month. What is that? Well, so George, what can you do that's going to do that? You can do tax liens and deeds. What I'm doing, guys. Out here, I got 7 books right here that I wrote. Now let me tell you this: those 7 books produce passive income for me. My real estate produces passive income for me. I have courses that I made, digital courses. That's passive income for me. Right? What can you do? You can write a book, you can do a course, you can do digital marketing for other people. Do you know the average digital marketer makes $200,000 a year? I was talking to a young lady that, is it yesterday? Yesterday or the day before. It was this week. I'll say this week. I won't say her name, but she told me that she was an accountant making $90,000 a year and she thought she was balling. Right? $90,000 a year. And she wanted to make partner, and she's a minority woman. She's seen that they wasn't going to give her partner. So she said, well, I'm about to do something different. She went to a 90-day skill set training in IT, not making this up. 90-day certification, and she makes $270,000 a year. She went from 90 to 270 with a 90-day training. What? And she works from home. What? Low barrier entry, new skill set that does not require a job, and makes a large piece of money in return. That's the game system, man. As long as you work the job system, you're going to stay in the same situation. You have to learn how to work the capitalism system. They trained you to be the job worker. They trained you to be the employee. And nowhere in that CNBC video that we just watched for 45 minutes that they tell you that you need to get on the other side of the equation because they want you to stay in it. Now, if y'all picking up what I'm putting down, guys, put some emojis in the chat for me right quick. Thank you, Helen, for feeding the chat real quickly. Thank you. Are y'all picking it up, though? This is how you get out. Stop playing. You are guaranteed to lose. I want you to say it again. You are guaranteed to lose playing the same game that you're doing right now. If you know, didn't work for mama, didn't work for grandmama, didn't work for mama, or it didn't work for grandmama, didn't work for mama, and it ain't working for you, and then you turn around and teach it to your children. Why? Because you don't know nothing else. You don't know nothing else. Nobody ever taught you this. I want to show you exactly how to do this, guys. And we're going to be doing it at CashFlow Chronicles every single night. Coming in, we'll talk about the problem, but we're going to give you the solution. That's it. All right. Now, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about this a little bit more as we go. But I got another segment that we want to talk about because there's some things going on in the Black community that we need to know. And I want to know what you think about it so that we can see if it's actually true. Right? What are your thoughts about diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? So if you don't know, diversity, equity, and inclusion actually came out of the civil rights bill. Now, y'all see that little symbol down in the bottom left-hand corner? I think it's left on my side. I don't know what it will. It's left on my side when I look at the screen, but this is my right hand. So it might be on the right-hand side of your screen. I don't know what side it is. I don't know if this thing is mirrored or reversed or whatever. But in the bottom corner, there's you got the red, the yellow, the green, the black, and the blue. The truth is, guys, the civil rights bill was written for minorities. But what happened is, and hear me, they made it for women. Okay? Black women were already a minority. You were black. So if you made it for women, who are they trying to include in that? Somebody tell me. Say it again. It was made for minorities. Minorities are male and female. They came back and says, we want to include women in the civil rights bill. If you're going to include women and black women are already included in black, then who are you trying to include? Carolyn said Caucasian women. Well, then the LBGTQ come up. Or did I say that right? I think I said it right. And they said, we want to be included too. We're a minority. And this is, watch this. And this is the NAACP says, yeah, come on. You're just like us. You've been through all the trials and all the slavery and all the Jim Crowism and all the prisoner pipeline. And you're just like us. Come piggyback off the back of our movement. And now diversity, equity, and inclusion is under attack. So much so that they're saying that it should no longer exist, that it's dumb. This is a regular talking point on Fox News. I'm not making it up. Y'all want to see it? Let's go take a look at it. A regular talking point on Fox News. Y'all, check this out, and we'll be back just to talk about it.
Elon Musk says that HBUC graduates are just above intellectual impaired.
Planes can crash and kill people because companies hire too many black people. And we have the richest man in the world, the owner of one of the most important global forums for communication, openly and embracing and promoting paranoid, racist theories.
At least, they're meeting their diversity goals. We can't link the diversity efforts to what happened. And, that would, take an exhaustive investigation. But it's worth asking at this point.
I titled the chapter DIE because this can kill.
You heard it on Fox first. Diversity, equity, and inclusion can kill. That segment last night was loosely about a door plug blowing out of a Boeing 737 MAX 9 plane during an Alaska Airlines flight last Friday. But rather than talking about safety concerns, Laura Ingraham asked, did this happen? Did the doors blow off? Because airlines focus too much on diversity, which is maybe sort of like asking whether the Challenger exploded because a woman was on it. This nonsense did not stop at Fox. Last night, the world's richest man, Elon Musk, picked up this line of logic and just ran with it. Yesterday, Musk replied to this post on X, formerly known as Twitter, which claims that the average IQ of a U.S. Air Force pilot is 120, and the average IQ of pilots hired from HBCUs, which are historically black colleges and universities, is 85 to 90. The Post explains that this means that graduates of HBCUs are just above what is considered borderline intellectual impairment. First of all, what? Second of all, is this someone really guessing the IQs of all the attendees of HBCUs? I mean, Martin Luther King Jr. went to an HBCU, Toni Morrison went to an HBCU, Kamala Harris, Thurgood Marshall, Oprah. HBCUs are not bastions of intellectual ineptitude, quite obviously. Also, pilots of all colors have to pass rigorous flight tests. Also, pilots aren't usually responsible for structural issues on airplanes. They just fly them. Elon Musk, however, just went with it, tweeting, "It will take an airplane crashing and killing hundreds of people for them to change this crazy policy of DIE." He means DEI. And do you want to fly in an airplane where they prioritize DEI hiring over your safety? And people will die due to DEI. This is our public discourse now. We have Fox News heavily implying planes can crash and kill people because companies hire too many black people. And we have the richest man in the world, the owner of one of the most important global forums for communication, openly and embracing and promoting paranoid, racist theories.
All right, somebody tell me what y'all think. Like, he said HBCUs is equal to intellectual impairment. In other words, that you're a little bit above just being plain dumb coming out of HBCU, and that we should not hire you based on your skin color, but now we should hire you off of merit. Does anybody know what happened when we had a merit-based system in this country? Does anybody know what happened when we had a merit-based system in this country? Black people did not have the opportunity to work. They didn't. Black people couldn't even get in colleges. That's how HBCU started to exist. We couldn't get in our own, so we couldn't get in there, so we started our own. That's how we even got them. Black people, hear me, you guys. You just seen the gutting of the Fair Voting Rights Act, which means now your ability to go to the polls has been slighted and shaded. They can discriminate against you easier than they could in the 70s. Now, if that's not backwards, I don't know what backwards is. It's easier to discriminate against you today, voting, than in the 70s. But that ain't it. Then they came back and says, oh, well, now we think that affirmative action shouldn't be there. And so now in colleges, they say, well, we shouldn't do it based on if you're black. We should do it based on merit. So then they gutted affirmative action. Now I need y'all to get this. Then they come back and say, so now it's harder for you to get in college than what it was in the 70s. I'm not making this up, but they didn't say anything about it's easier for other people who are legacy to get in college. Legacy's still okay. That means I'm getting in based on my parents' efforts. Legacy. But I shouldn't get in, but you shouldn't get in on all the hard work and all the discrimination, all the things that we've done and continue to do to African-American people in this country. That shouldn't count. They gutted that. Then they came back and says, well, I don't think we should teach CRT, critical race theory, in our schools. I don't think we should teach black history because we don't want them to hear what great-granddaddy and granddaddy did to black people because it makes white people feel uncomfortable. So now you can't even learn black history in most schools in America. It's getting harder and harder. Now they're saying those jobs, those jobs at diversity, equity, and inclusion, we should get rid of that too, because now it should be based on merit and should not be based on race. Now, I'm not saying that the only reason you give somebody a job is because they're black. That's just dumb. They need to be qualified for the job. But we also know that even though you may be qualified for the job, it's harder for you to get the job than it is for Becky. It's harder for you to get the job than it is for Sam. It's harder for you to get the promotion than Karen. Why? Because they look out for their own. I'm not racist or nothing like that, but I am saying that there is a racist system that takes place in this country. And until we actually admit it and actually embrace it, things will not change. And watch this. And because we, that's us as African Americans, have no voice, it's happening. We're going backwards. Fair Voting Rights Act, going backwards. Affirmative action, going backwards. Black history, going backwards. And now diversity, equity, inclusion at work, going backwards. Here's my question. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? And then you got the nerve, Elon Musk, to come out and say, he didn't say it. It was on somebody else's quote, but he still came back and posted up under it and then said DEI equals DIE. And they said that HBCUs equals intellectual impairment. Do we have anybody here that graduated from HBCU? If you graduated from HBCU, put a 1 in the chat for me. If you graduate from an HBCU, Harlan said me. Anybody else put a 1 in the chat? If you graduate, that means you're intellectually impaired, according to them. Anybody else graduated from an HBCU? Anybody? That's what they're saying, you guys. I take issue with that. They're about to gut it again. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. It just says that we want you to include us as an equal. We want the same equality that it takes. And it says, oh, we're going to give it to you based on merit. I call baloney. Anybody remember the test that they did? It was called, oh gosh, let me see if I got it up here. I looked it up earlier today. It was a Harvard study that they did. I was going to go a whole nother way with this, but it was a Harvard study and it was called Harvard study. I forgot the names they use. I know it was Lakeisha and Jamal. get a job. Here it is. A Harvard study right here. Let me see if I can bring it up on the screen. A Harvard study where they actually but they put out 5,000 resumes. 2,500 were black, 2,500 were white. They put out 5,000 resumes, and then they came back and said, sorry about that, you guys. They came back and said, okay, is this equitable? Can black people really get a job? Well, guys, if you had a black name on a resume, now this is all the way back in 2004, but are things getting better or are things getting worse? Guys, here's a 42-page document that actually talks about exactly what the studies found. And it found that you were less likely to get a job based on your name. Just your name, just by having a black name. Now, here's the thing. The resumes were equal. They gave the same resume, but on one they had Keisha, on the other one they had Jamal, and on the one they had Emily, and the other one they had, what was it? Emily and who? And Greg. Emily and Greg, the Keisha and Jamal. A real Harvard study. And they say, oh, but things are equal today. We don't need diversity, equity, and inclusion anymore. Well, I disagree. They're not. If we don't develop our own economy, listen, y'all know I'm a Christian, saved, believe God, all that kind of stuff. But it ain't been too many times I agree with Farrakhan, but y'all, I'm starting to agree with him. Like, man, we just got to do our own. They don't, like, we're going backwards. The Jews, they did it. Is there anything different than what they did than what we can do? I don't know, y'all. You got to talk to me in this chat. Talk to me in the chat. Let me see. I would love to drop a link in here. Can I drop a link and let people come on up and we can have a conversation? Let me see. Where's my link at? How do I invite people? Invite button. Copy. All right. I ain't never done this before. We're going to see if it works. Guys, if you want to come on in, there's a link right there where you can come on in. I see that it went on. It dropped in Facebook. No, it didn't. It dropped in Facebook in one of the groups. It dropped in YouTube, but it only dropped in one group on Facebook. And it didn't drop to my regular page either. All right. So if you guys got the link, it's cool. You guys come on up. Let's have a conversation about it. Guys, have a conversation with me in the chat about it. And are we right or are we wrong about this? Like, what are we doing? Are we going backwards? Are we going forward? Is it right? Is it wrong? What are we doing with this? That's the question I have for you. Me, Elon Musk tweeted, with diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI will make you die. Hiring black people will kill you. Elon Musk text that. Hiring black people, DEI, will make you die. Hiring black people will kill you. I'll spit on a Tesla. I like Teslas. I actually wanted to get a Tesla. Tesla's going to be my everyday car. I like them. Man, I'll never buy a Tesla. I'll never do anything. And it ain't going to hurt them. But why do we support people who don't support us? Why do we buy from people who don't buy from us? Why do we feel like we need them? We don't need them. Do y'all think the NFL would work if black people said we ain't going to do it? Would the NBA work if black people said we ain't going to work, would this economy still survive? If black people said we ain't going to spend, would this economy survive? The problem is that we're so divided. The only reason the Montgomery boycotts worked is because black people for the first time were unified. That's the only reason the Montgomery boycotts worked, is that for over a year, we did not catch a bus, which means black people had to take other black people to work. Black people had to get up, go pick up somebody else, take them to work, and then pick them up and take them home for over a year. We worked together as a community. And what did we do? We bankrupted the Montgomery, Alabama transportation system. They went bankrupt. And you know what they said? Okay, black people, what do you want? You know what we said? We just want to be equal. We just want equality. That's all. We don't want to own the system. We just want to be equal. And that's all we're saying today. And they say, no, that diversity, equality, and inclusion thing, that whole equality thing, including you, including people that are diverse backgrounds, we ain't gonna do that. It ain't funny. But what does it take to ask for a civil right? Like, we're not asking to be above anybody. It's just civil. Like a civil. Like, we're just asking, can you be civil towards us? Black Lives Matter. We just want our life to matter. Like, do y'all understand that we're asking for the lowest thing available? It's like, no, it ain't civil rights. Everybody should be included. White women, gays, homosexual, everybody should be included in that bill. Or you know what? You know, it ain't Black Lives Matter, it's all lives matter. And I know that you've been through all these different things, but how dare you try to say that how dare you try to include other people? That's racist. Well, it wasn't racist when y'all was doing it to us. And now that we're saying, hey, let's make up for the years that we've been disadvantaged, and let's make sure that we're not going back to the same thing. So people who don't like us still have to meet a quota, who normally wouldn't hire us or normally wouldn't take us into their school system, that they have to do it. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Civil rights. Black Lives Matter. We're asking for the lowest denominator. And they're still saying, nope, don't want to do it. Not going to happen. Something is wrong with that picture. What's y'all thoughts? Y'all, my time is up. I thank you guys for yours. It's been another episode here of Cashflow Chronicles. I went a little long today, about an hour and a half. Guys, we want to keep this 45 minutes to an hour. I went way long, but that's okay. Guys, we're getting used to this. I'm learning how to click these buttons a little bit. I'm learning how to work the iPad. I'm learning how to do my little camera thing. We play our first commercial today. Guys, this thing is working out for us. Before you know it, guys, we're going to be hitting this deal. If y'all like this content, it's something else that you have something that you feel like everybody needs to see, everybody needs to know, guys, I need you to share this content out. Like it on Facebook, like it on YouTube, like us on Twitter. I don't even know what you're doing, not Twitter, on Instagram. I don't even know what you do on Instagram. Like, do you like it? What do you do? I really don't know. All right. I don't even know what you do with that. Right. By the way, guys, we got a conference coming up. If you guys are interested in our conference, guys, we got a conference coming up where you're going to teach you how to buy houses for as little as $500. It is a 3-day apprenticeship. This is not really a conference. You're going to work with me and my staff, and we're going to show you. We're going to walk you through an entire auction. Like, you're going to work beside us. We're not coming to teach you something. We're not coming to sell you something. We're coming to show you how to buy $500 houses or houses for as little as $500. That's literally what we're doing. Everything that you need. Just guys, let's go to pennies2properties.com/conference 2024. Go there, go check it out, and go do it, because there's some big major things that's happening right here in the city of Gary, Indiana, that I'm really excited about happening right here. And if you haven't heard, I'm telling you that we have a new mayor that's went out and done some really important and smart things, that he went out and partnered with influencers who can now actually begin to bring influence to our community, like Dame Dash. Now, it's rumored, can't say that it's actually true because I haven't seen a news article on it, that he actually brought also Mike Epps. Then it's rumored that he also went and got Kanye. I know Dame Dash actually said it, and it's only 60 seconds. I'll play it. Check this out.
But everything that we've visualized has happened, and what we're visualizing is what Gary's going to look like by the time he's finished in the next couple of years. So almost, I'm trying to do everybody a favor and put him up on game. So if you could trust that, like when I told you about Jay-Z and you laughed, and I told you about Kanye and you laughed, and I told you about being the boss and you laughed, and I told you about diabetes and you laughed.
Diabetes is not funny.
It wasn't then and it isn't now. But you're laughing. But I'm telling you about Gary. If you missed this wave, and I've told you already not to, you're a dumbass, period. And don't blame anybody in a couple of years because you missed this wave. I already told you what it is. And I don't have to be nice about it. I don't have to talk in a tone. Just be intelligent. And when you give somebody an opportunity, that means you've given somebody the opportunity to work for.
Y'all, all I'm telling you is that there's going to be a major shift and a major change. Come get the land. Y'all see how many properties I've already bought for as little as $500. What do you think is going to happen with the property values when they show up and when people start buying up? It's going to push the price up. When price goes up, what happens to the value of your property? It goes up. So you got a property for as little as $500. We teach you how to only buy $100,000 properties, but now that $100,000 property is worth $150,000 to $200,000 because we're going to gentrify our own communities, our own neighborhoods, just like they did in this book, just like they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma. In that same interview, they said the idea is to build Wakanda. I don't know about you, but it makes me excited. If you guys are not going to come to this conference, I promise you, you're going to regret it. Because what's going to happen is that the price is going to go up in that area. And you're going to be like, George, how do I get in? I should have got in then. How do I get in? And I'm telling you now, come to the conference now. Get the property while it's cheap and watch the market go up. 3-day live apprenticeship. It's going to be in Chicago, Illinois. The dates is March 21st to the 23rd. Go there, penniestoproperty.com/conference 2024. Guys, if somebody can put that in the chat before we leave. I believe it's pinned on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, it should be pinned to the top of the chat for you. But it's penniestoproperty.com/conference 2024. That's where you want to go register for this conference. Guys, spend 3 days with me with an apprenticeship and my team in Chicago, Illinois from the 21st to the 23rd. It's going to be dynamite. That's all I can tell you. All right, guys, I love you guys with the love of Christ. This has been another episode right here of CashFlow Chronicles, you guys. And I can't wait till we come back on Monday with some new material, I guess what we can call it, or a new show. Guys, I'm getting warmed up. It's only our third show, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'll see you guys later, man. You guys be blessed.